Today's guest is John Twigg, a homeopath with many decades of experience based in the UK. And you will find his website at cosmichomeopathy.com, and you can join his Facebook group, which is also called Cosmic Homeopathy. Now, sometimes I have a guest on the show and I'm not quite familiar with their work. So when I go into the interview, I don't quite know what to expect. And this was certainly the case with having a chat with John today, because what he has discovered is just so completely revolutionary and mind-boggling, but then at the same time makes so much sense. So the first part of the interview, you'll probably realize that I'm sounding very confused. But then right towards the end, and that was quite funny. That was my donkeys outside making that sound, walking into one of the bins. So right in the end, you'll see that it all kind of comes together. And I have my own aha moment about the way that John treats his clients. And I've just joined his Facebook group. So I'm really hoping to learn more about this way of using the colors of the rainbow, the colors of light, to heal our clients. And maybe a good idea to check out the Rumble channel for this one, because John does have quite a few visuals. So if you go to rumble.com/c/homeopathy hangout, or just go to rumble.com and type in homeopathy hangout. As you may know, YouTube deleted my channel a little while ago. We are considering bringing it back, but maybe just with some snippets without any of the controversial information, which they apparently class as medical misinformation, and the rest of us call the truth. Anyway, that's beside the point. So this episode might be a good one to go check out on Rumble, because you will have the visuals there. It should still be okay with just the audio only, because I have tried to kind of describe things as he's holding them up to show. But yeah, I'll be really interested to hear some feedback from the homeopathic community and what you think about this. I think it's definitely going to open up a whole bunch of new possibilities. So do go check out cosmichomeopathy.com and also check out the Cosmic Homeopathy Facebook group. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the Homeopathy Hangout, where we discuss all things homeopathy from around the world. And now my mum and your host, Eugenie Kruger.
Hello, homies, and a very warm welcome to Homeopathy Hangout. Today we have the privilege of speaking with John Twigg. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here.
Oh, it's lovely to have you on. I could tell from just looking at your website and that you have a lot of stories to share with us today, and I just cannot wait. Just before we start, though, do you want to tell our listeners how you were first introduced to homeopathy?
If I can say it without tears.
Oh, tears are welcome here. I often get teary on the podcast myself. Go for it.
Right. Bonnie was a bearded collie, and he was our pet. And it was a bonny boy, and he developed a problem with his spine. And to cut the story short, I approached the vet, and the vet gave him, obviously, a glorified painkiller. And so the next day, Bonnie thought he was well. And then he got all kinds of trouble a few hours later, because he was running about thinking his spine was okay. And then, when he'd gone down bank again, we phoned the vet, and she said, look, he's what we call a dyer. There's nothing can be done. I said, what about herbs? I said, I'm very interested in herbal meds. She says, you can do anything. Apparently, you need permission to treat people, treat animals. She said, you can give him anything. But a friend of mine is interested in homeopathy. She said, I'll have a word with her and ring me back. Anyway, my wife rang her back and she said, give him arnica. It was the quest for arnica that led me to loads of different people. But arnica saved his life. But I'm a typical Aquarian. I'm afraid you give me some news like that, I want to know what's going on. And we talked about a long time ago, by the way. Yeah, it was so easy. So I was getting people better, but I wanted to encourage homeopathy. I discovered some doctors that weren't telling me the truth. My own doctor wasn't telling me the truth for a start. I won't go into that. I'd got to promote homeopathy. I vowed that I would promote homeopathy for the rest of my life. And the only way I could do it, particularly because I came from a really rough area, there's no way could I get them to buy remedies. So I ended up offering to treat people. But I really pushed it to treat people and to buy remedies for them. I was digging and searched further and further, and this led me to lots of people. And eventually, many friends and doctors. But I became chairman of a homeopathic group. The way that happened is interesting. I'd heard there was a group locally, So we're talking about amateur group now. I knew in those days you'd got to really, everything was about doctors. That was a falsity. But I was convinced that everything is about doctors. And there was a group of members. So I approached this lady. I knocked on the door. I said, "Excuse me." I said, "I've heard you have a group. I'd like to be a member." And she said, "Just give me a few minutes." She went back in the house and she brought out a box of cards of membership. They're yours. I was chairman of the homeopathic group there and then. I never even went in the house. So I started to contact all the people that I knew and all the doctors on the names and so on. And I eventually became big friends with the Ainsworth family. And
Oh,
eventually, now Tony Pincus, who owns Ainsworth's, he supports everything I do.
that's incredible. Do something called Cosmic Homeopathy. Like your website is cosmichomeopathy.com. And I had a little read through there. I don't quite understand it. So if you can explain some of that to me, that would be awesome.
That's dead easy. When you realize that everything comes from the cosmos. So because I'm going to be dealing with the cosmos itself, I thought it's cosmic homeopathy.
Hmm.
It's because all remedies come from the cosmos.
Hmm.
All plants come from the cosmos. We are in the cosmos. It's simple, really.
Okay. Can you give a bit more information?
Yeah, some years ago, I read about Swami Narayani. You ever heard of her?
Yes, I have. Yeah. It's gorgeous. I've interviewed a couple of people that knew some. Alvia Berry actually trained under Swami Narayani. And it's interesting because I saw on your I saw on your website that you went to Johannesburg to the Soham Center, but I always thought the Soham Center was in Durban, but it's actually in Johannesburg.
No, it started in Durban.
Oh, okay. And then there was, okay, I didn't know
So I'm
that. Tell
thankfully
me
was
about that. I would
in.
love to know more.
Have you ever heard of Robert Davidson?
I have heard of Robert Davidson and there
Well,
was Martin Miles and those guys. Yeah.
yeah. Robert introduced, I was at the same college, and Robert introduced us, the members, the college, to Narayani combination remedies.
Uh-huh. I
But I
love
knew
using them.
he's a crafty beggar, is Robert was. But I thought he's not giving us all the information. He was holding back on some things. And I didn't know what he was holding back on. I thought, I'm going to have to find out what Robert is holding back on. And I thought, I'll search and search. And I eventually found a phone number. I spoke to this lady, Lottie, and I told her my interest and I told her where I stemmed from. And I said, I'd like to find out about Swami. Then it was Swami Ananda. Swamiji was the reverence. They called him Swamiji. But it's Swami Ananda. He was the co-author of the books. But Swamiji told me all he did was make tea. And these are little amusing things that come out of the meeting. But the lady said, "Would you like to say hello to him?" What? Yes, definitely. He comes on the phone. We have a chat, and then he invites me over to South Africa, and that was it. I grabbed it with both hands.
Wow. Please, can you tell us a bit more about that? Because that would have, so you got to meet Swami Narayani as well?
She died.
Oh, had she already? Oh, okay. I think 1960 she died. Hey,
I forget the year now.
1960. Yeah, I can't remember now. No, that would be right. Yeah. Because actually the lady that I interviewed, Rebecca, I know it's not Rebecca Sturb because she's with AHA. It's Rebecca, I can't remember her surname now, that I interviewed. She worked with Alvia Berry, who was 92 when she passed away a couple of years ago. And she studied under Alvia Berry. She studied under Swami Narayani. So it's all these connections. So you actually went to the Soham Foundation and saw what they did there.
Yeah, I didn't realize when I arrived, I was with a partner of them, Mary. When I arrived, we were introduced to all the Swamis.
Mm.
And I had already came across this cosmic homeopathy, this route, using gems to represent sunlight. So I'm more or less there, and then I was practicing what I was doing. But I didn't realize when I got there, I was saying hello to all and hugs to all these people. And I was saying that, look, I've come over to learn things. I thought you come over to teach us. So I realized the Swami Ananda had set me up as the Great White Coming. That was a story on its own. So straight away, and I love sunlight, and I was parked outside with these particular table and chairs, wrought iron.
Oh, yes.
You see outside.
I've got wrought iron furniture out here from South Africa as well.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
That was known as John's office.
Oh, cute.
And Swami and Nanda would send me all his cases, but he'd also invite me in for any difficult cases. Swami and Nanda was about money. Okay. So he got to get the collection box up because it was all about donations. It might be this at the time, actually, to send you some photographs of while I was there that I've never shared with anybody.
You can. If we can do the screen share option. Did you want to do that?
Not yet. No, I haven't. We can do that another time.
Okay.
You might be able to use them. You see.
Oh, great. Yeah, wonderful. I'd love to.
There's one thing you must know. I used to be a stained glass artist. We used to use acid, and I had really up to there with work. And I was working on a church, and I realized when I'd placed this section of glass in this space in the church window, I realized it was not, I could do better. I'm very critical about myself. And so, fortunately, my studio was about 2 minutes away from the church. And so I rushed back, got some acid. I thought, in stained glass, you get what you call, try and do this simplified. Let's say you get clear glass, right? And then you've got a flashed glass on top of that. So the glass then will look blue. Okay? Which isn't, it's blue on top of clear. Okay? So I thought, now this was ruby in this case. I thought I'll acid some of this ruby off to pale it down a bit for the shoulder of Christ. But I was so upside down with the work that had gone on, and I ended up forgetting to put my gloves on. So the acid was creeping up my hands, and I was rushed to hospital. It was hydrofluoric acid, but they wrote the wrong acid down at hospital. So I spent the weekend with my finger ends burning away. They look all right now, but it was mental damage. There was crying, there was memory losses, there was concentration. So I may lose concentration. That's the point I'm making. It's all down to acid burns of 30 odd years ago.
Wow.
So I can lose track of what I'm saying. Please forgive me. But everything else functions okay. Well, almost.
Does sound pretty traumatic. Hopefully you were able to use some homeopathics, or were you not using homeopathy by then?
I was using homeopathy, but I'm afraid I was on my own. I'd got nowhere to turn to. I was stranded. I wasn't qualified. I was then promoting homeopathy and doing it all myself. There's lots of work I can still do.
So with your time in South Africa, how long were you there? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, God, yeah. 3 months. It was like living there, because we did live there and we had our own flat. But it was quite a strange situation, because there's lots of danger in Johannesburg. It's electric fences, razor wire, you are locked in. And you're encouraged not to go outside. But I always broke the rules, I'm afraid, typically. I didn't take on the fear, but I'll tell you what, it was deadly, and still is. Well, worse now.
Yeah, but, definitely. I'm from Cape Town, but Johannesburg is definitely much worse, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not somewhere I would raise my kids.
Told, I went to Cape Town as well. And Durban.
Oh, great. Amazing.
And Plettenberg Bay.
Oh, lovely. It's beautiful out there.
The garden route.
The garden route is gorgeous too. I had our honeymoon we had all along the garden route. It was lovely. So you use a lot of radionics machines as well, and pendulums and all sorts of other things as well. I think you were hinting to that before, because you were saying you were trying to figure out how to give remedies to people and as low cost as possible. Is that how you came upon it, or?
Yes, it was. You got to bear in mind, and this is back to Swami Narayani land. When I got there, do you know how the remedies are made?
Yeah, so intentional remedies. So apparently she would go into a room and she would meditate and then come out with a new remedy, I've heard.
You know, have you got Narayani remedies?
I have got Narayanis, yeah.
How are they made?
That's what I was taught, is that some of them are intentional remedies and some of them are like combinations of remedies. But I was told that they're not radionics.
Wrong.
Okay, you've been to the Soham Foundation. I haven't, so you can tell me how they were made. I was told Swami Narayani would go into a room and then she would like meditate, and then out would come the remedy removal of entities or something like that.
No, there's much more to it than that.
Okay, tell me all about it.
She was involved with Lavender Dower. She was involved with Yvonne Combe.
I don't know any of those names. Okay.
Malcolm Ray.
I've heard of that name. The homeopath.
Malcolm Ray. All the remedies were made from
cards. Ah, okay.
Every single one.
Really?
Every one. I took with me a bottle of natron mure and a bottle of carcinosin in medicating potency. Okay? And you know what medicating potency is.
Yeah.
At Soham Sanctuary, they'd never heard of carcinosin.
What?
They'd never heard of medicating potency.
Interesting.
All they knew was herbal tinctures, and
Those cards.
every Narayani remedy was made from a card.
Really?
Every one.
Seriously?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical now. So, but
You
how
can't
would
be skeptical. I was there, lady.
but how would but Swami Narayani wasn't there when you were there. So like how did she get access to a radionics machine? And then how did she make the cards? And how did she know that those are the cards that would represent something like
Because Malcolm Ray made them. She knew Malcolm Ray.
Was he so did he,
Malcolm?
Okay, so did he make the first radionics machine?
He invented the cards.
Okay. And then he gave her a machine. He gave her a radionics machine.
Yeah.
But then, so say, for example, something like the removal of entities. I keep going on that one because that one always blows my mind for how many clients that one helps. And so how would she have created a card then for removal of entities? Would there be like an intention that would go into...
That was all to do with intention.
Okay. So you would then hold the card and put the intention in it or somehow, and then... Because they've all got little, like different little patterns on them. Because I've got a couple of those cards. I've never used them. But then you would have a different pattern or something on it for a different intention.
Well, that's all the cards looked like. Because Malcolm Ray made all the cards.
So would he have made a removal of entities card as well?
Yes.
So he would have... Okay, so Swami Narayani didn't make it. See, this is the type of stuff that I find fascinating and that I think that us as homeopaths should all know. Like we should know the history of our remedies. We should know how it was made. We should know where it comes from and not just assume. Like I've just assumed. And now I'm going to go back over my episodes because I'm sure that it was somebody I interviewed has said that she would go into a room and she would meditate and then she would come out with this intentional remedy. But now you're saying it's a card. So now I want to go...
That could well be true, but there's very little of that. You see, most of it, she was a well-seasoned homeopath, but basically she was in touch. I've got a book somewhere.
I have all of her books here that I ordered from the Soham Foundation in India. I just have not read any of them. So I am a chronic book hoarder with not enough time to actually read a 10th of the books that I have.
I searched for books before I went to South Africa, okay? And the only two I could find, in my ignorance, were with America. And so I ordered both of them. They both arrived in the post. And when they arrived in the post, I don't know if you can copy that. I'll read it. Dear Lavender, meeting you has been a great experience for me. Bless you for being you, lovingly at your feet, Narayani.
Oh, that's lovely.
Let Lavender Dower have this book.
Oh, wow. Run me through who's Lavender Dower again?
Lavender Dower would be a lady that specialized in radionics.
Okay. Oh, I love that you're teaching me, like giving me a history lesson here as well, because I think it's really important that we know our lineage too. I feel it's really important that we acknowledge the people that we've learned from. Oh, okay. Oh, ALG Dower, Healing with Radionics, The Science of Healing Energy. Oh, I wonder if you can still find that book. Interesting.
Yeah,
thanks.
You can.
Okay.
You can.
Thanks.
The trouble with me with books, that when I start to buy a book, all of a sudden they treble in price.
I better quickly...
About £5.
Yeah. I could better quickly hop onto Amazon before this episode goes out.
There was I won't go into this. You try get these now. These things.
Oh, gem therapy. Interesting.
That's the finest book you can get on gems.
Really?
A little book.
Yeah.
It's the best you can get on gems.
Oh, where was it printed? It looks like something that's come out of India somewhere.
Yeah, it was India.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like a B Jane. They have a lot of those little tiny little books that they printed.
This is Firma KLM.
Interesting. Maybe talk to us a little bit about radionics. So when did you first discover radionics and what's been some of your stories with it?
We've only got an hour now. Go on, sorry.
No, well, tell me
my sense of humor.
That's okay. Tell me a little bit about radionics and maybe for our listeners that have no idea what it is. Do you want to give them a quick little rundown on what radionics is?
Oh dear. I'm not a radionics specialist. It's basically, if you think about Malcolm Ray was a naval officer and he started to be interested in electronics.
Mm-hmm.
And he had this idea in his head that every substance has electrical shape to it. So he had to devise a way of it would use a wooden rule with markings on it, right? Now, the wooden rule, basically, there's always moisture in it. Okay? So you put a remedy like arnica, it's energy. That's energy. And it's electrical energy. Okay? Now, that electrical energy will follow moisture because moisture is a good conductor of electricity. So you stick electricity on the end of there and it will travel up there. Okay? And this is the one of the ways that Malcolm Ray was finding the energy of a substance. He'd see how far it would travel using a pen. It would just increase the potency. Basically, when you start to dowse, you'll go right to the point. You keep following the energy of the remedy until you get to perpendicular.
Oh, wow.
And that is the energy of the remedy meeting the energy of the universe, if you like.
Hmm.
And that's its energy point. And it'll do that every time, that will. It's electrical.
Amazing. Is that how the codes, because I've heard that with the radionics machines, the codes have been dowsed for, which I've got a radionics manual and it's got like tens of thousands of remedies and codes and things in there.
Dowsed for.
Wow. Amazing. And where did you learn dowsing? Because that's something else that actually, no, let's just stick with the radionics. I've got lots of questions. My mind's jumping. Let's just stick with the radionics. So how have you used it? Do you use it exclusively? Clearly, you still use some remedies too, because you've got a couple of remedies sitting there.
You might make this episode 1 and episode 2.
That's all right.
Question again, what was that?
Okay. So do you use radionics exclusively or do you use hand-succussed remedies as well?
Changed. It's changed now. Yeah, we're gonna have to build up to this.
Okay.
I don't do homeopathy as such, but I do homeopathy. You'll realize.
Okay, maybe just build it up. Just talk to me, John. I can see your brain is like next level. So I'm just going to sit here and you just tell us stories.
Yeah. Now, what happened was using this device, the Malcolm Ray. So what he would do, he realized that everything, or he didn't realize. His idea was basically that every substance has electrical shape. So you've got to find a way of locating that electrical shape. So what he'd do then, he'd have let's say paper, okay, this device here, dowsing, okay, and so he would also use compass and crystal. I don't know how exactly. I can get a printout of that for you. And eventually you'd find a marking, okay. He'd mark the different compass points of arnica. Okay. Now we've got to find a way of encapsulating that. So we thought if we make a round card, then it'll float about. We've got to make a square card. Okay. Can you see those?
Yeah, well, just for our listeners, because this is obviously an audio podcast, but the video does go on Rumble. So for our listeners, you'll just have to go onto rumble.com and then type in Homeopathy Hangout and then it'll come out. So is that the little points that's on there? Is that the points for arnica? Actually, Staphysagria. Looks like
those are dowsing points.
Okay.
Right? But that will always be Staphysagria.
Okay.
But what he did is he encapsulated that in circles and he had a card, square card, because it got to invent an instrument that think in the term of barcodes. This is before barcodes. Okay. So if you accept that barcodes work, so what you've got to do, you've developed a barcode for a supermarket. Okay. And you've also invented an instrument that reads the barcode. So this is the same sort of thing.
Okay. But it just heals people.
So he then got an instrument that reads this pattern.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what it's called, it's a pattern. Okay. An instrument that reads it. So if it's a barcode, you'll find in there £2.50 or $4. You and me.
Yeah.
The point is, it's accurate. So there is an instrument that he invented that reads that card. Okay. Then you put bottles of pills in there. Okay. And then the electrical pattern or energy would travel into those pills. Okay. And that's how they were made.
Amazing.
Thousands of remedies. Now, and that's how Swami Narayani went into her system. I proved to you she knew Lavender Dower. She would write to these people. And she knew Malcolm Ray. Oh, you'll see photographs of her next to Yvonne Combe. He died a couple of years ago.
So interesting.
He was a brilliant bloke in French radionics.
Wow. Amazing. And I guess sometimes I think it was a big stretch for me using a radionics machine for the first time. I interviewed Jill Turland, who's a homeopath here in Australia. She's 82 now, I think, 81, 82. And she has used radionics exclusively for 40 years. And I was so skeptical, but I got one a couple of years ago after interviewing her and have used it. And I've had mixed results, but most recently I've used a radionics remedy on myself that definitely worked really well. Yeah, that's the one, getting back on track. Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but then
Brilliant.
part of me is, there's so many people making intentional remedies now and paper remedies and water remedies and sending remedies just psychically. I have had a remedy psychically sent to me by Eileen Noman and it 100% worked. I don't know how. So now I'm like, so from starting this podcast, like from me going, like being strictly classical to then considering radionics and then intentional remedies and now psychic remedies, it's all just energy at the end of the day. So it makes sense.
Now, as we talked about energy, we're going from radionics. Because I went down this route of gems representing sunlight. But eventually, I've always passed on. I've always shared. And I found an instrument that was cheap, that would beat everything. And that was basically it. Free.
Yeah. Amazing.
Sunlight.
Okay. Cool.
Can't be beaten.
Got lots of access to that in Perth, so I'm sweet.
You don't need the strong sunlight of Perth. There's plenty of sunlight in England.
Amazing. So talk to us about that. What do you mean by that?
Okay, I teach. Please excuse the way I teach. I teach by prompting. Okay, what colour do you see sunlight as?
I don't see the color, but if you were going to draw a picture, like my daughter always draws it yellow, but the color, it's got no color to it. But I know it's got all the different colors in the light. And then if you use a spectrum, then it was going to refract that into all the various colors. If you shine
any light, even the torch light, through a prism, right, the prism breaks down the light, whatever the source is, into its component parts. Nature has a prism, and nature's prism is rain. So you shine light through rain, and that prism, rain, will break down the sunlight into its component parts. And so you'll see
a rainbow.
But this is the key to this. Rainbow is not static light. Okay. You're going, if you go through the rainbow itself, you go from, let's say, from red to orange to yellow to green. Yeah. But the light of the rainbow is vibrating. That's vibrating all the time. Everything vibrates. There's nothing still. Everything vibrates. But the key to this, Eugenie, is everything vibrates at frequencies. So everything is electrical. Dowsing is electrical. I don't know if you can dowse, but I could certainly teach you to dowse now.
Oh, I'd love that. I have got a pendulum in my room and I have tried dowsing before, but yeah, I've given it a try. I think with me, I just need to actually do it enough that it becomes just second nature.
You will be dowsing before the day's out.
Okay, great.
Okay. So light. So if you go look at the red part of the spectrum, it's vibrating, and you're going into orange, right? Now there's not a cutoff from it gradiates from red to orange. So you got a reddish orange and so on. Then you're going into the yellow part and so on. But there may be, for example, 1,000 yellows before we get to green. Okay? And that's where remedies come in. And electronics. Any questions about that?
No, that sounds good. Soham Jandu, who I had on the podcast, explained it beautifully like that once. He used the rainbow spectrum as an example to explain why combination remedies work. And he said exactly that, like white light is actually made of the frequencies of the various different colors. And so you can have several different remedies in one bottle, but actually it's only the frequency that you need that you will resonate with. And I actually thought that was one of the best explanations I'd heard.
Yeah, but what I've found is, let me give you an example of epilepsy. Okay, because I found that people may require specific frequencies. Okay, and if you was using a sample,
what is that?
That is basically a lock of hair sandwiched in 2 sticky labels.
Okay.
Basically, what you can do is you've got the hair sample, and the person in those days. With the epilepsy case, he was attracted to found a way of bottling sunlight.
Oh, that's lovely. What have you got in there? We'll just have to explain what we're doing because it's going to be really hard for our audio listeners if they don't. So we'll have to explain to them what you're holding up there.
I'm holding up a device that holds 7 bottles of different colours.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way science works, they're transparent bottles. You can see they're transparent.
Yeah.
Now, the only light that can get into that, to the inside of that bottle, is blue.
Okay. Is that food coloring, or have you got the label around the outside with that color, or is that like a cellophane, like a colored cellophane on the outside?
It's neither.
Oh.
It's on the inside.
Okay.
So it's an accurately cut piece of, what do you call them now, filters. And I have to get the filters from America because apparently they're the best.
Okay.
So I'll make these filters of the different colors. Now, the reason I made the filters, by the way, of different colors, because I used to use gems. And because I wanted to pass on this information, because I'm getting older, I wanted to pass on the information. So I thought, well, I can't tell people where to buy gems from because of the way that's gone, the corruption in the world. People were artificially enhancing gems. So I thought, I'll make yellow myself, make yellow sunlight. But that is yellow sunlight because the only light that could pass through that yellow filter is yellow.
Oh,
There's
that's
no other
lovely.
color can pass through.
Yeah, cool.
Therefore, there has to be yellow sunlight inside. It's like if you have a red bottle, this is according to now color scientists, you have a red bottle and you shine, let's say there's water in the red bottle. You shine sunlight through the red bottle. There's only red light can get through red. No other color can get through. So what you've got inside there is red water, electrically red, not physically. You drink that water and you will produce ferric crystals in your body. You'll make iron.
That's cool. So what you were saying then about this hair sample that you have from the client with epilepsy, what did you do with that then?
Well, what I do is, let's say there's 7 bottles of, don't forget, we're all electrical. And when I say electrical, it's also magnets. It's electromagnetism. Your feelings that you had for your husband, that was electromagnetism. It was the electrics. Okay? Everything goes on in this way. So this person, right, will be attracted to what it needs most. Okay?
Oh, so you've actually got the sample, you're holding it in your hand with the pendulum. So the pendulum's actually going, so you're getting the energy of the okay. Because just for our listeners, John's just got the hair sample between 2 sticky bits. It's sticky, like a sticky tape in your hand with a pendulum running through that. So you have the energy of the person in the pendulum and holding that in front of the colored glasses so you can see which one the pendulum will resonate with. That's interesting.
Yeah, but bear in mind, it's not the pendulum that's resonating. The hair is DNA. It is a live sample.
Yeah.
It will be so long as the person is alive. That person will always be attracted electromagnetically to what it needs.
Wow.
Always. If it needs blue tomorrow, it will be attracted to blue.
So would you ever do that as like a combination, or is it only ever one color that a person needs? And then how do you administer that? Do you give them a remedy made from that color?
That's the other thing now. To find out got to find out the colors of remedies. So I did the same thing. I will hold a bottle of arnica in my hand. Okay? Can you see it? With the pendulum. So electromagnetically, the arnica will be attracted via the route of the pendulum, will be attracted to its component part. If you're using gems, the pendulum, the arnica will be attracted to the yellow gem. Okay? But if you're using sunlight, the arnica will automatically always be attracted to yellow. So arnica vibrates at a yellow frequency, always.
Okay.
Because it's electromagnetic. It's so accurate. It can never be questioned.
So what I didn't quite wrap my head around before is, so what you're saying, when you were dowsing with that person's hair to which frequency of the colors they need of the rainbow, then say it's red, you would then get them to put water in a red water bottle and then drink from that? Okay, so that's something different. Okay.
No, that's me. I'm upside down.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm just trying to see how it all fits in.
So basically, you've got to find out. You might say, why don't we get the colours through sunlight? Because we've been made ill. It's as simple as that.
So why aren't we
The-
getting the healing through the sunlight? So whatever color that you need,
Exactly.
say I need red at the moment, why am I not getting it through the sunlight? Like there's okay.
The reason you're not getting it through the sunlight is because you are unbalanced. By the way, you will find from my website that I don't accept disease. There's no such thing as a disease.
Just
If
being
we're the most
unbalanced.
superior, pardon?
Just being unbalanced.
That's all it is.
Okay.
I know there's no such thing as disease because I saw a squirrel outside here the other day, and I asked the squirrel if it's got cancer, and the squirrel looked at me as though I was stupid. So I asked the frog as well, outside, and asked the frog if it's got a headache. These are diseases.
Uh-huh.
The frog looked at me as though I was stupid. It didn't. So basically, you've got the gist of this.
Yeah.
Diseases have been made up by English doctor linguists, people that speak the English language, and so on. In actual fact, there's no such thing as a disease. There's only an unbalanced state.
So how are you using what you're doing to get somebody to a balanced state?
So let's say, for example, I was asked, I won't go on the first, how it all started, because I'll bring you to a deeper case. Eventually, I was asked at 11:30 at night, could I help Danny? And Danny was epileptic, severely epileptic, by the way. And I did ask the lady, who's my sister, I said, why aren't you speaking to this other homeopath? Can't afford. So I said, okay, I'm on my way. So we get over to her house, and there was Danny sitting down, petrified, in an epileptic state. And I knew that Danny was attracted to yellow. He was electromagnetically attracted to yellow. That means Danny need whatever Danny's going to be given for his epilepsy. It must vibrate at a yellow frequency. Have you got that now?
Yes, that makes sense. Okay.
Because he is attracted to yellow.
Yeah.
Just look outside. Look at all the plants. All the plants, they all vibrate at yellow, at specific frequencies. Arnica vibrates at a yellow frequency. Okay? Anyway, he was attracted to yellow. So I've got to find a remedy for his epileptic attack that would help him, but it must be one that vibrates at a yellow frequency. So I get into the repertory. You understand what the repertory is?
Yep. Got that down packed.
And look in the book and look under epilepsy. I thought, no, hang on a minute. There are about 400 remedies under epilepsy. So you got to fine tune it, right? Fine tune the symptom. So I had to go eventually to the nerves section.
Mm.
Now, his mom told me that Danny, I'm sure he won't mind me using his name, that Danny, he knows when an attack is imminent.
Mm.
He gets a sensation down his leg, like a creeping, like a mouse. So this is through talking a lot. So that's brilliant. I look in the nerve section, and then it was sensation of creeping down his leg.
Oh, wow.
That's in homeopathic terms, that's a good symptom to use.
Mm.
So I've got two things about Danny. One is I know he's attracted to yellow. This is how accurate this is.
Mm.
He's attracted to yellow. Okay. None of those. That cut out all those remedies that vibrate at those frequencies. He's attracted to that. And in the book, there was one in capital letters that I know vibrates at a yellow frequency. Calcium carbonate.
Ah.
That's it.
So have you got a list somewhere of which remedies vibrate?
Yes.
Which colours?
I've got at the moment. I've got about 130 at the moment, maybe 140 or more.
Oh, great. How can we access that?
It's on my website.
Oh,
On
the Cosmic Homeopathy website?
On the group.
On the Facebook group, on the
Cosmic
Cosmic. Okay, gotcha. Excellent. I did see that you've got a Facebook group as well.
I will share my information with everybody.
Oh.
You need to understand that. This has got to be passed on. It's too important.
Mm.
But what I'm not going to do is pass it on to somebody who then sells it as a book.
Yeah. It's a lot of that happening in the homeopathic world at the moment, I'm afraid.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
I know two members. There was one lady who remind me to come back to autism. Okay. That's a classical example.
Mm-hmm.
That lady set up as an autism specialist overnight.
Don't get me started. I've already had my rant on the podcast. I promised I wouldn't rant anymore. I've actually made peace with it all now. And I've actually decided that people should do what they want to do. And I'm just going to take, and in fact, it's a funny story. I recently started seeing a homeopath and she gave me a remedy which I couldn't find. So I made it on the Radionics machine. And literally after taking that remedy, I felt all my energy come back to myself because I was spending so much time getting angry about all these pseudo homeopaths, like selling, like making their own remedies and selling it without any proper training, and, writing books on AI and like selling things and teaching things that they don't even know anything of or don't have a proper base or any proper training. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit fiery up now, so I'll take my remedy again after this. But that after taking that Radionics remedy, I felt all my energy come back. So now when I hear these things, it actually doesn't affect me as much as it did before. And I figure at least it's getting the word out there, and at least you can't do that much harm with homeopathy. But I just think from an integrity point of view, I'm always shocked that people can do like that, because something I pride myself on is my honesty. And I could never do something like that. And I'm also a big believer in karma. So I just always feel if you're going to be screwing people over like that.
You mentioned this about honesty. I will send you the list of those colours.
Let me know what you want me to do with it, because we'll have a chat. We'll have a chat afterwards about how you see that being used and how you would like that being used.
This is all about accuracy now. He was attracted. This epilepsy case was attracted to yellow. That means whatever we're going to give him is something that vibrates at the yellow frequency. Okay, and remedy calcium carbonate vibrated at the yellow frequency. So I gave him. Can you suggest potency?
I would probably just start with 30C if it was my client, without knowing anything else about the case. But if he's a young boy, and I probably
it was 200.
Is it 200? Yeah, either either. I think either either. But it's always impossible to say really without taking the case. But epilepsy.
I'm pulling your leg. Look, I'm testing. This is how I teach.
Okay, that's fine.
So he was attracted. I gave him. I'm not saying, by the way, I cured him. I'm just saying at the end of the day, I'll take you right through the case to when I had to go home. This was now after 11:30 at night. So I'll take you through that process. And you can judge for yourself if he ever got better. Anyway, so there's a story to it, obviously. And then, I gave him Calcarb 200. All his symptoms subsided. And after a few minutes later, the symptoms returned. So I thought, I'm going to give him Calcarb 1M. And again, all his symptoms subsided. But several minutes later, his symptoms started to return. And now I could see he was petrified. And he put a big blanket around his shoulder. He got up and he said to his mum, Mum, I won't go to the hospital. And so I thought I'll put things at peace. I said, look, Kath, let Danny go to the hospital. Whatever you do, we've got to get him out of this fear, because it'll kill him. He was in a terrible fear state. And because she did tell me, Kath told me that every time he would never go to sleep, for example, if he was in this state of fear, because he would always think that if he had an attack during his sleep, he would die. So that's why he never went to sleep. And anyway, cut story short again, before I said, come on, Danny, and I let him go through the door. I could still see his terrified face, pale face. And I said, I thought I'm going to give him Calcarb 10M and put one pill in his mouth. And I could still see his finger on the doorknob looking at me. And he says, I just want to go back in. So he come back into the room, got on the settee and went to sleep. But after a while, I said to Kath, look, Kath, I've got to go. I said, I've got to be up tomorrow. And it's very important. I've got work to do. I said, let me know when he wakes, what's happened, what state he's in. That was it.
That was it? It was good?
Total cure.
Amazing. Wow. Didn't have a return of epilepsy?
Never.
Wow.
Never. 14 years ago.
That's pretty amazing.
But also in those next few months, he became a man. It's all happened. He returned so quickly. But it was epilepsy, total cure in about, 20 minutes?
Oh my goodness, amazing. And you said you had autism. Amazing. I'm always up for any tool that's going to help us eliminate remedies, because with 8,000 plus and counting remedies, sometimes it can be so overwhelming.
Eugenie, any tool, you're not going to beat sunlight, darling.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat it.
That's still going to limit it. So say, for example, an epilepsy rubric, which is probably still going to have 400 remedies in there. So you're probably going to have at least, say, 50 or 20 or whatever remedies in there that will all vibrate with yellow. But that's where you're saying you
Well,
really need that really good SRP symptom.
exactly.
But if you
You've got
can't
that.
find it, then it's still...
We'll find something. In the
Okay.
end, I was using just one symptom,
Mm, mm.
no matter what it was.
That's lucky if you get a symptom like that, though, because when you don't, and you get so many clients that are just not in tune with their bodies and are just not able to give you that symptom, but it's still going to narrow 400 epilepsy remedies
You
down
will get
for
enough.
you to
Believe
20
me,
or
you
whatever.
will get enough. You
Okay.
will get enough. You will get enough. Just most of the time now, I can just do it off 2 symptoms.
Amazing. We need to also expand your list, because if there's only 120 remedies and their colors in there, we need to expand that. So we need to get some more good dowsers to give you a hand and tell us what other remedies vibrate with which
Nobody yet.
colors.
I found nobody yet. That's the people have tried, and we're not finding the same remedies.
Ah,
So,
interesting.
I need to kick myself up the backside. But the big problem is there's a lot of inquiries coming through, and I'm taking cases on and so on. There's one lady, she wants to be named. She had an upset with her husband and the business, and she approached me not long ago now. She said, I can't walk straight. She keeps falling over. This is one of the symptoms of the incident, of the split up. This is a larger bottle.
Okay, so you've got a yellow colored glass there by the looks of it, or yellow, like
Yes,
a
exactly.
yellow.
Mirror
Mirror on each side of a yellow cylinder.
on the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
That means the light that's in there can only be yellow. No leakage.
Yeah.
It could be reflected back up. That lady who couldn't walk properly, she was better overnight.
Did you put a remedy with empty, like blank pillules inside that vial, or what did...
No.
No, what did
just
you
used
do? I'm
sunlight.
confused. Okay, but then what did you do with that sunlight that's in there?
I just put her inside.
You put her inside?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Like visually, or like a picture of her?
No, put the hair in.
Oh, you put the hair in. Okay.
Yes, she is bathed in sunlight.
Okay, that is cool.
She's now bathed in, I think it was violet in her case.
I saw those little colored cylinders on your windowsill there. I was wondering what they're about. Oh, I
Yeah,
see you've got a mirror. Is it
a version?
I want to ask you about that pyramid I've spotted there, because that's something that I've wanted to get for ages. Is it a mirror? Is that what it's called? MIRA? That pyramid you've got on the corner there. Apparently that's for charge, like you can charge remedies and all sorts of things on there.
I don't know what it's called. Pyramid to me.
Cool. You've got some interesting toys there by the looks of it. You said that you had an autism case for us as well, John.
Oh, yeah. One of the early cases, some lady was complaining about, she was a homeopath, needed help, and a child who was autistic. I must have spent 2 hours on the phone with her, explaining how it all works. So that was it. And she gave me the symptoms of her son. And I said, has he ever been given phosphorus? Because he was attracted to yellow. And from her symptoms, phosphorus was indicated. Well, treating him, ever given phosphorus? She says, no. I said, well, give him phosphorus. And then if you go on the website, you'll read her testimony.
Oh, that's great.
Instant cure.
Wow. So do you know that cool little thing that you have there on the wooden stand with the little vials in it? Do you sell those, or is that something that people can just buy the filters and then just make them themselves?
A friend of mine who made it for me, look, eventually I can sell them. I'll get him to make them, but he's going to make them in just a rectangle.
Yeah.
But he keeps promising me, he said they're nearly ready. You know,
I like that rainbow shape one that you have. The one that you just held up before. You said he was going to make it in a rectangle. Oh, so you mean the little board will be in a rectangle, but I like how you've got that in the shape of like a rainbow. That's gorgeous. And it's got it's really beautifully done. It's really beautifully done.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he ever ends up making it to sell, let me know so we can let our podcast listeners know that it's available.
He won't sell it. He said, I must sell it. I'm not into selling things. I'm into giving things.
Oh, we've got like thousands of podcast listeners. I'm sure somebody will be in touch too.
You will get, I'll tell you.
I would just hope that whoever does do that they give you a kickback of it or some sort of royalty payment. That's the thing that I'm just seeing a lot in the homeopathic world, that there's not enough acknowledgement of the people who created the work, or who not enough kickbacks. That's something that I've actually started doing. There's some homeopaths I've had on the show who created remedies. And I sell their remedies, but I give them royalty payments every time I sell the remedies. So I hope we can see more of this instead of just like stealing somebody's work and selling it. Like even Jill Turlin's book, somebody actually, her original publisher actually scammed her book. So she hadn't received any royalty payments from that book for many years because he was selling it on Amazon and everywhere else without giving her any kickback of it at all. So I'm just like, what sort of person does that? It's just weird. I don't understand people that do that. But like I said, I'm a huge believer in
You want to
karma.
hear me swear?
Oh, sure, go for it. We love dropping F-bombs in here every now and again. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it all comes back to them. John, this has been really interesting. I did not know what to expect today because when you got in touch, I had a look on your website. I'm like, I'm really confused, but it looks like this guy's done some cool stuff. So I'm definitely keen to have a chat. But what you're saying 100% makes sense. And like I said, it was funny that Som Jandu on the podcast just a few episodes ago mentioned this about the spectrum of light. And that really stuck in my head. And I like how you are utilizing that to get to that correct prescription because goodness knows we need all the help we can get in our
what
clinical
I'm
practice.
finding now, I can use combination remedies. You see, that person is attracted to a part of sunlight that they're not getting. We must assimilate sunlight. It's very important that we assimilate light. If we don't, we're in trouble. But you can find most of the time it's just one part of the spectrum. Okay, so let's say they're attracted to yellow. This is how far this is going to go. They're attracted to yellow, right? But there may be 100 yellows. So that's where the remedies come in. Phosphorus yellow, hypericum yellow, arnica yellow, calcarb yellow. Which yellow are they?
Okay.
You connect the symptoms, take you to which yellow.
Okay. That is really cool. It completely makes sense now.
It's massive. I've had people, there was a lady, I used to use a cafe that closed down. It was a Muslim cafe. And she was interested in what I was doing, but didn't understand it. And she said, would you take my hair sample? I took a hair sample. 2 years later, she phoned me. She says, John, I've got a problem. Can you help? I said, I don't know what's your problem. She said, I've got severe pain, severe. She said, we've eaten something while we're out and some spice that didn't agree with it. She's pretty sure it's that. Violent stomach pain. And I said, I'll tell you what, Psyche, that was Psyche. Psyche was her name. I said, just give me 10 minutes and I'll have a look, see if I can find something. But she hadn't given me any symptoms other than stomach pain. I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll just stick it into the violet bottle in the violet cylinder. Simple as that. I stuck her in there. I thought, now look, 10 minutes, I'll give it 10 minutes. And I thought, cracky, I haven't found anything for Psyche. I better ring her. Bluff me away somehow. And so I picked the phone up. She says, what have you done? I love you. What have you done? I said, what are you on about? I said, I've rung back just trying. She said, I put you in this cylinder. She said, all the pain's gone.
Oh,
Within 2 minutes.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Now, the one you must know is about the lady, as I say, they go on forever. A little child. I treated, the mother was at college with me, and I'd created this system while I was still at college, and I treated the mother, and she said, you take the whole family's, then I was using saliva, take the whole family samples. I said, yeah, okay. 2 years later, having qualified, she phones me up. She says, what can I do? So this child, I said, you must get her off to the hospital. I said, no liquid for 4 days. I said, that just is not on. Get her off to hospital. But I'll test it just before, because I got the sample, and she was attracted to violet. Please bear that in mind. That child was not me. The child was attracted electromagnetically to what it needs. She needs violet light, a 4-year-old. And I took the symptoms, and you get the electronic repertorizer. And from the symptoms, I'd got maybe 40, 50 remedies. The top 10, not one of them was violet. I had to go down to the 25th, I think it was, list in the list, the first violet. That becomes my first remedy. A homeopath would use arsenic, etc., right? Because the child doesn't want to drink, doesn't want to eat, doesn't like the taste of food, and so on. Is not thirsty. 5 good symptoms, and not one of those on the list was violet. I looked for the first one that was violet, and it was carbo veg. So I rung the mother up. I said, give her carbo veg. I said you could even give her a gem, a violet, if you wish. So anyway, to cut the story short, after about 10 minutes, I thought, what I'll do, and I recommended, by the way, Corbo Veg 12. And the reason 12, because that's the only one I'd got in a bottle. The only potency I'd got. Simple as that. Synchronicity. So I thought I'd test her again after about 10, 20 minutes. And I noticed the energy, using that rule, the energy of the child has shot up. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So I thought I'd ring the mother back and say, don't worry now. Get her off to hospital, but don't worry, because her energy shot back up. Okay? And so what happened then, she says, I thought I'll ring her just to let her know. So I picked the phone up. She says, how did you know? I said, all I'm doing is ringing you to let you know that the energy shot back up. That's all I'm ringing for. She said, within 2 minutes, she took a biscuit out my hand, and went to the sink and got water. It was all over in 2 minutes.
That's
Violet.
amazing. John, thank you so much for sharing this with us. I really hope that we can get more of this information out there. I've just joined your Facebook page, so please accept me, your Facebook group. And I look forward to learning more from you in your Facebook group. And yeah, just getting the word out there and seeing if people can experiment with this and get their own results. And for our listeners, they can go to cosmichomeopathy.com. And there's also the Facebook group, Cosmic Homeopathy. Is there any final message that you want to leave us with just before we wrap up?
Not really, other than enjoy the sunlight. It's just as simple. It's just so simple. Every plant, every single plant, therefore every remedy uses sunlight. If you haven't got sunlight, you've got no remedies whatsoever. So that should tell us how important sunlight is. Because there's no remedies, no life, no creature, no Eugenie, no me, no nothing without sunlight. Bring sunlight back, and you've got everything back.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, John. It was so lovely to connect with you.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.